And I feel like so many people put so much time and effort into their pitch, if you will, that if they hear no, they don't know how to handle that no in a way that it can be really just not twisted, but served properly to that client or prospect that you have, that allows people to go, this guy cares. I just told him no. He said this is the solution. He listened to me.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the True Life Network podcast. I'm your host, Mike Ashabi, and today I got a real treat for you. Today's guest is a top leadership expert and sales trainer who's been recognized as one of the preeminent raw and uncut speakers of the world, as well as an integrity-based authentic life coach promoting real change. He's the CEO of Make Sales Great Again, co-host of the podcast Gut Check Uncut, as well as an author of 2 books with a 3rd one on the way. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you the one and only Todd Speciale. Todd, thank you for coming.
Hey man, I'm blessed to be here, brother. I appreciate you very much.
Appreciate you too, man.
Yeah, man.
So, I want to know a little bit more. Raw and uncut. You were recognized as one of the preeminent raw and uncut speakers of the world. What does raw and uncut mean to you?
I think a lot of people perform on stage, right? And when they get up on stage, everything's rehearsed and they prepare for it. Now, preparation's okay when you're getting on stage, but I feel like a lot of speakers tell people what they feel like they should hear and what they want to hear to get more likes or more follows or just be more popular. When I've kind of grown into this individual throughout my life that just says it how it is, right? I'm not the guy that's going to strive to get people to love me. You either do or you don't, and that's okay. So when I got on stage at a very, I guess you could say at start, I realized that I wanted to be myself. I wanted to be authentic. I wanted to be raw and uncut. And the first big speaking event I ever did, I did just that to an extreme, I think, and it helped elevate my career. And I realized that that's what I wanted to be from now on. So yeah.
So why do you think a lot of these speakers are trying to perform?
Again, man, I feel like when you have the life coach or mentor or entrepreneur title, you look for people to support you and love you, and we all want that. That being said, it needs to come from who you are as an individual rather than putting on a show. Like, I'm not Grant Cardone, I'm not Victor Antonio, I'm not these Brian Tracy. I'm myself, right? This is who I want to be. I respect and love every one of those guys. But I don't do things the same way they do. And if they want to perform, that's okay. But you get to a certain time frame in your life, we just realize that there's no more time for production, right? People can see when you try to be something that you're not, or you're not authentic. They can see it instantly. So the guys I just mentioned, they're themselves, right? They get on the stage and they just speak from their heart. They're amazing sales trainers, amazing, obviously, entrepreneurs and businessmen, coaches. But they do it their way and I'm going to do it mine. So.
You know what I like about that? So there's that quote, I don't know if you heard about it, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Sure, yeah.
So the concept behind performing, right, with all these speakers, they're putting on an act, right?
Yeah.
But then also the way that they create their products and services, they're building them based off of what they think that the marketplace needs.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I always told everybody, do your research. Go ahead and ask questions to, just people every day. And then build products and services based off of what you know they need rather than what you're assuming they need,
yeah,
right?
Sure.
So I think that plays a huge part in actually, being authentic in this industry, because you're being real. You're bringing your perspective on how you can actually, solve those problems.
Yeah.
So, I want to know, being authentic, how do you relate with because sometimes when you're authentic, people have opposing views and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you get people reaching out to you, hating on you.
Oh, yeah.
How do you deal with those kind of individuals and help shift their perspective?
Yeah, so it's funny you say the word shift, right? So a lot of people have this mindset and I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss or not. But
by all means.
Okay.
By all
yeah,
means.
So a lot of people have this mindset where like, fuck the haters, right? They're like, if you get one, get rid of them as quickly as possible. There's some truth to that, and then there's not, right? So we all have haters. If you don't have haters, that means you're not doing something big enough for people to care, obviously,
100%.
right? But I have had so much luck in shifting the mindset of a hater to turning them into a gladiator on my side as a supporter. And a lot of those haters at the beginning just don't know who you are as an individual. They may think they have an opposing view, but you guys may see things so clearly side by side in a parallel fashion that you might become some of the best business partners and do a lot of powerful stuff together, but they don't know that unless they get to know who you are. Now, that being said, you can try to shift a hater into someone that's going to support you, and that's not always going to work. At that point, you got to cut out the negativity quickly, right? But I feel like there's so many people that just are so quick to cut off the people that hate on them or talk shit about who they are. You do it too fast, man. You know, people react when they see something. It's not, as you get older, you realize it's not what you say, it's how you react to certain situations, right? Hothead as a kid, first guy to punch someone in the face, right? That's changed, thank God, because I probably get beat up a lot these days as I get older. But it's the same kind of mindset in an entrepreneurial world where you have people that believe there's a capability of being something more. We talked about earlier when I started my Instagram, right? Fake followers because I want to be cool, and I didn't know that it was a fake follower. The guys, I can help you build your brand, and then I had 9 million people from other places that just weren't real, right? I don't want to put on a front, and I don't think anybody else should either. So, and I also have known in my career that I'm not going to be the coach for everybody. I'm not going to be the people that some organizations want to speak on leadership because I am raw, and that's okay. But those that kind of get to know me and who I am as an individual and see that there's some synergy, some level of synergy, we become a lot closer and have a stronger bond if, believe it or not, they start from the beginning as people who just didn't like me. It's crazy that it works out that way. But I think you don't eliminate the people that can support you, but you have to give it a chance to nourish a relationship that can be beneficial to the both of you. And if not, just great friends for years to come, right?
100%. I mean, So Gary Vee talks about this with haters, right? So he says that haters, somewhat says it like this, but ultimately haters see something in you that they don't like about themselves that they're not willing to confront, right?
Yeah, a lot of truth to that.
And at the end of the day, when you actually approach a hater in an authentic, genuine way and actually try to help them, it actually shifts their perspective.
Yes.
Right? Because at first they see what you're doing and they're just saying, hey, you know what? I'm not actually in a position where I'm actually putting my full potential to use.
Yeah.
So they don't like that about themselves, so they get angry and then try to bring everybody else's building down.
Yeah.
And Gary talks about this, I want to build the biggest building by bringing everybody else's building up rather than tearing them down. So what kind of, situations have you been in, shifting that perspective to show them, hey, you know what, I'm actually just here trying to provide value, and get them to see, in a different lens.
Yeah, so it is about providing value. We had a conversation before the podcast where, you don't believe in sales, if you will, right? It's all information, which is very true. That is sales in general today. My third book is, Make Sales Great Again. It's going to be the sales Bible, right? I believe that sales has shifted. And to your point, you are still selling people when you're marketing, right? We talked about marketing being important, right? Salespeople go where the leads are, right? If there's no leads, they're not going to be there. And they want to go where the easiest money is. And I think a lot of people, when they see people going after their dreams and trying to extend their futures into something, profound, to leave a legacy is extraordinary because some people don't have the balls to go do it, right? So for me, one of the most important things for haters to realize is they're going to see a difference in who you are when you start actually producing. Because what most people don't want to say but believe is they want you to do good, just not better than them.
Yep.
And when you start getting recognized as someone in the world that's making real change, there's a lot of jealousy, there's a lot of hate there, and I think that spawns something inside of someone that they didn't even know they had because they're like, dude, that's insane. He's not, and they almost don't. They don't want you to make it. But when you do, and you start doing great things like this, I'm sure, in even your scenario, starting a podcast and your own company and doing things that you're doing. There are probably a lot of people that said he's not going to make it and probably hope that you don't.
Especially from high school.
I'm sure. But it's unfortunate, but that is the reality of the world. And the sooner that people realize that not everybody's going to be on your side, not everybody's going to be there to support you, and it's quick and as hard as it is. And the sad part is it's a lot of times family, right? It's people that you love the most that you think are going to be, hey, take all your money, dump it into something great. And they're like, no, get the house with a white picket fence, get a strong 401k, make sure your kids go to an Ivy League college, right? I mean, with all due respect, to the people that have, I'm glad for them. But if my daughter doesn't want to go to college and she wants to go out and start a sales career, and we can call it what it is, sales is real. And sales is the highest paying position on the planet. Your company, it's a sales organization, right? Everybody is selling. People have been selling their entire lives. Babies, you cry, you're selling to get food. Kids want to borrow the mom's car, you're negotiating to clean the room so you can get the car, right? That's negotiation, part of the sales process. It's the same thing in business. You intelligently bring people to your office to come into here to see what amazing, which it is, a stunning office that you and your brand new lovely wife have built together. I think it's an awesome testament to who you are, but it's sales. Some people are going to hate on that. Is it fake? Is he putting all this money together? Is he putting this beautiful office to convince them to do business with him? Yes, you are. Let's call it what it is. Coming down here to come to a podcast, to be in the luxury of what you've built, it's a blessing to me, whether we do business or not. That being said, what I don't like is being brought down to a podcast, not here so all the viewers know, but other people. Oh, it's not a sales center, we're not trying to talk you into doing business. No. I hope that you do, because if you don't, then you need me to coach you. Because that's the reality, but people are going to hate on that. People are going to get mad about that. Life is sales. Life is going to have haters. You got to eliminate the people that aren't willing to make the positive change in your life, because negativity, it's just going to bring you down.
So with the sales process, though, do you believe in follow-up?
Of course, absolutely believe in follow-up. Yeah, 100%. Follow-up is so, it's funny because there are so many statistics out there, and we can talk about them till we're blue in the face, right? So in high school, believe it or not, I had a 2-year probationary scholarship to go to Baylor University. I want to be an attorney. Shocker, right?
Her brother went to Baylor.
Very cool. So I lived in Missouri at the time as I was graduating high school, and salespeople that want to be attorneys or that did want to be an attorney, they're the best, right? Because we love to argue. We don't. We want to win an argument. We want to profess our knowledge on our side. But there's nothing you can't find online. This is the reason why two-man Lincoln Douglas debate. All this. There's the reason why debates and attorneys have stats, and their job is to convince a jury, right, or a judge of their side to win. It's the same thing in a sales process, right? So I feel like follow-up, people can tell you about statistics all day long, and they can say, oh, it takes 3 to 5 follow-ups before someone says yes. Well, bullshit. I could maybe sell you on the first time that we have a conversation together. Should you follow up? Absolutely, because it's based on personality. Sales in general, you're right. It is a confirmation, information. It is, people don't want to be sold, they want to be served. And it's easy to be a master liar and convince people to do things. It's not easy to be a master salesperson. And let's be honest, having the title sales isn't the best. What do you do for a living? Sales.
Yep.
How do they look at you? And as a matter of fact, for my podcast, we talked about having videographer, earlier before the show, following us around, where I'm going to have a mic and I'm going to go up to the person, hey, what do you think about car salespeople? And just let them spew. What about a timeshare person? What about a life coach? And people are going to spew so much about they're thieves, they're robbed. That's because weak-minded salespeople have lied to people to get deals faster instead of taking the time to do it properly, build a relationship, and have a follow-up. You must have a follow-up, and it definitely depends on the ticket item as well, too. People are going to go up to Cardone, we talked about earlier, and they're going to give him $100,000 just like that because he's Grant Cardone. You and I, it's going to be different, right? We've got to follow up with these people, and we've got to make it consistent. But we've also got to show that we give a shit. Follow-up isn't about the cash. The follow-up is about the person. If the relationship isn't there, be honest and tell that person, this isn't for you, but I can guide you to someone where it is. You'll be surprised how much more business you'll get from the person that you didn't sell rather than how much business you get from the person that did. You'll get more business from the one you didn't sell and you were just honest with them through the follow-up.
So I'm going to throw a little bone at you.
Yeah.
I don't believe in follow-up. I think if you're doing
I can be convinced. Go ahead.
All right, so if you're doing it properly, there should be no reason for follow-up. I believe that the whole sales strategies, closing techniques, all that kind of stuff is garbage, complete garbage, because that is it's sales, right?
Sure.
Sales is trying to convince somebody onto your product or service. Convincing meaning that you don't truly care about the problems, right? For me, it's about effective communication. So you can literally build trust, rapport, and literally get somebody to transact with you because you're providing a solution in one call. I'm very big on the one call close because at the end of the day, it's all how you're presenting yourself. asking smart, intelligent, hard questions, obtaining information, and providing a solution. And when you're actually going ahead and asking those hard, intelligent questions, right, that's building rapport, because it actually shows the prospect that you're giving a shit about what is going on in their situation, and to see if you could genuinely care and, you know, provide that solution, a way out for them.
Sure.
Right?
So how do I trust Mike?
How do you trust me? I mean, that's a good question. At the end of the day, you're here, right?
You're selling yourself. So here's what I'll tell you. I always say that I never tell anybody they're wrong or right, by the way. It's a rule I live by, because I believe in everybody's opinion and how they do business.
100%.
And if people are successful and they are very successful with your follow, we talked about Cardone's 365-day follow-up, right?
Yep.
It's not my cup of tea, right? It's not how we do things, you know, consistently bashing people every single day, right? It's not. Let's just call it what it is. I also, on the flip side, I'm not going to say that you're wrong, because you're not. You do have a very successful business, and you create and generate wealth for your family to do that, which soon to be 3, by the way. Congratulations as well.
Appreciate it.
That being said, I guarantee you this, that I could come into Mike Ashabi's company, True Life, and of all the business that you didn't close the same day, could generate you a ton of business if you just let them go. Because you didn't close me the first day. You got me to come down to Boca because we're going to do a podcast. I know we're going to talk business after this, because I'm smart enough to know this, but I also know that there is a vetting process that I do about individuals before we even talk to them. You talked about your wife and events and how she vets. She never says yes to anything. I love that. It's all about intelligent vetting to make sure it's the right person that you actually would even want to speak to. You won't be closing me today, but that's okay, because it's how I do business, right? Some people aren't going to be the let's do business today. So a lot of companies are going to lose business through not following up. But we talk about effective communication, because I want to take a step backwards. That is sales, right? My book, which you're going to love, is because of the mindset that you have about sales, is why I'm writing it. Because everything you're saying, I actually agree with. The follow-up, there's a lot of business that you should get the first day. Totally. First time you talk to people, there's a lot of people, the clients you can close that way. You lose a lot of business people that you don't follow up with, because you may or may not believe in that process, and that's okay. The sales book that I'm writing is different. The sales process hasn't changed in 100 years, but the people have gotten smarter, right? And people don't like salespeople, and they hate that they think that they're being sold, which is the reason why I'm going to guess you have a feeling that you have about sales. Being in an environment like that you have in the past, without mentioning names, right? It gets very difficult when you see the shove it in your face every single day, and you go, I don't want to be a sales guy. I don't want to be the person that's going to do that to people. You don't have to do that to people. So here's what I agree with you on. Effective communication is sales. People want information. They don't want to be sold. You're right. They want what type of information, what am I going to do for you? But you said something that closed yourself. You said, I'm going to provide a solution. That solution is sales. Because here's the deal. When you're offering a solution to somebody and they make a transaction with you, you just sold them on doing business with Mike at True Life. You could call it giving them information. But if I'm giving you money or I'm giving you my time, you've sold me, Mike.
100%.
At the end of the day, it's a massive compliment. How you sell, though, is different, which I love, because you are effectively an amazing communicator. You're not the reason why your business is thriving is because of how you communicate, and the fact that you don't want to be that sleazy sales guy that beats people up to get the sale. You shouldn't have to convince people to do business with you. Like you said, you provide a solution that makes sense for them. Your solution, Mike, isn't going to be for everybody. 100%. My solution isn't either, and that's okay. Let's capitalize on who it is for. And the ones that it's not for, like I said, and I'm going to say, and I have said in my sales book that I will release, is providing and communicating effective information that's going to allow them to make the decision to see if you're the person to do business with. But that is sales. But it's done the right way.
I can agree with that to a certain extent.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get controversial on
No,
you.
not at all. I love it. Yes, sir.
So, I mean, ultimately, I call it not sales, building relationships, right? So, for example, you came down here to jump in on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
It's likely that we could do business later on.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, even when I'm speaking to somebody on the phone, right, and I'm qualifying them, trying to see if they actually have, you know, a situation that I could actually provide a solution for, you know, I'm not, if I can't genuinely help them, right?
Yeah.
A lot of salespeople, what they do is just still try to, you know, they're talking about the product and just shoving it down your face.
Yeah.
When in reality, if you go ahead and just tell them the truth, hey, you know what I'm doing here is not going to benefit you.
Yeah.
Right? Now they know you, they trust you, and they like you. There's a second question that you have to ask them at the end.
Sure.
Second question, not only the first question is, how can I help you? The second question is, how can you help me? So do you know anyone who would benefit from what I'm doing here?
Referrals.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Because now they trust you and they like you, and they're 10 times more likely to provide you with a referral. But like, it's still building that relationship. You never know, 10 years down the line, they might have, something that, they need help with, and you know what? I like Mike now. We've kept that communication, it's a relationship, and then I could provide maybe one of my connections or something, boom, made a commission like that.
Do you believe that's selling yourself?
Yes, I mean, everything you're selling yourself. You go to interviews,
Okay.
they have to believe in you.
So you're still selling, Mike, right? But you're selling yourself, because here's what I will tell you. When you talk to any person in sales these days, right? Because I'm a sales guy through and through and love it. It's the verbiage that we're using is the same, because we're actually talking about the same thing. You're saying if you can't serve them, because you asked the question, how can I help you? I changed a word in that. How can I serve you, right? Mm-hmm. And because I do want to serve people, I want them to know that I care. I could sell myself all day long. If you don't believe, Mike, that I can help serve you in your life, why would you do business with me? I can also provide the best product, the best service. That's going to make you a shit ton of money for the rest of your life. If you hate me, Mike, are you going to do business with me?
I mean, if the solution's there, though.
What if someone was providing the solution that you actually got along with? Same solution, same results, but you like this guy and the communication, the relationship was better. Who would you do business with? The guy that you hate or the person you have the relationship with?
Relationship.
Every time. So you're always going to sell yourself in order to provide a service to serve someone to be more of who they can be. So we're actually saying the same things, you just hate the word sell, and that's okay. And that's exactly the reason why I'm writing my book, Make Sales Great Again, because I'm actually agreeing with you. It's not even a debate. You're right, 1,000%. Because I believe in serving people. We're always selling. You could say, I'm not selling, I'm serving someone, which is the reason why they want to do business with me. That's okay. You serve then. Don't you sell.
You know what I like the concept of this this whole conversation here? So look, it comes down to serving, right? Mm-hmm. And serving, if you look at the prerequisite to a relationship, any relationship, there's two prerequisites. One, inspiration. Two, support, right? Support means value, right? Yeah. Providing value. What can I get from the relationship that's going to either better my life or, help me, in certain situations, right? So at the end of the day, I always tell everybody, stop chasing the money, start chasing being a person of value, and the money will come. And that's just where you're actually engaging properly with individuals. You're bringing your true self, right? You faced your own truth where you can actually authentically bring who you are to the table, and people are either going to resonate with it or not. And that's the value that you provide. People, feel a certain way by being around you, and that's how you build that trust in that relationship.
Absolutely. And the easiest answer in sales is that you have to build relationships, which we're both saying that, right?
Yep.
You got to build relationships with people in order to do business with them. That's selling ourselves, any way we look at it. So I talk about sales in a sense, and I'm passionate about it because I'm actually agreeing with you. There's a lot of people, and I've got you by a few years, Mike, but there's a lot of people in the old days when sales, you're right, it's been so much of, let me just shove this in your face, let's force it down your throat, let's beat you up in the sales. There's not an objection in the world that I can't handle. Not one. You can throw any objection at me at any time, that's fine, I don't care. I can handle the objection. It doesn't mean you're going to do business with me. It doesn't mean it. I have a solution for every problem that you have through words. Proving that I can solve, to your point, and have something to help serve you and providing that solution to you so we can solve that problem, that's different. There's a difference between action and words. And I feel like so many people in the sales world today they spew. They never shut up. Constant talking. No, wait. If they just shut the fuck up and listen, that person will tell them how to serve them, not sell them, right? Which I'm agreeing with you. And then if you can provide a product or a service that actually does that, now you're serving someone, you're building a relationship to your exact point, and you do business with them. If you can't do business with them, it's not about the money, it's about serving people. When you serve them properly, whether you have a product or service that supports them or it doesn't, tell them the truth, it doesn't support them, it doesn't serve them, and you're gonna get so much more business from this person because they do like you, Mike, but you still sold yourself. And if they don't like you, they're not going to do business with you.
So I always say the same thing, sales is not about talking. It's about actively listening, understanding, and then providing a solution, right? But why do you think that most salespeople can't listen?
Because they're afraid to hear the word no. See, a lot of salespeople these days, really just, I guess I could say forever, since I've been alive at least, I'll just talk about that portion. They're afraid to put in so much effort into pitching someone, which I hate the word pitch, by the way, but into pitching someone, what their product or service is they're offering, and to just, inevitably get the no. Right? Like, wait, I put all this time and effort, Mike, into trying to talk to you about a product or service that's going to change your life. I don't think you understand. Then becomes combative. Then it becomes questioning intelligence. And a lot of people are so afraid to hear that no that they continue to talk so much, they want to talk past it. When I teach a lot of salespeople to surface an objection, like if you're selling what you do, you already know what the objections are, right? We know what it is, right? Everybody wants to know how much is it, right? And what they're going to get out of it. It's sales in general, 101, right? And I feel like so many people put so much time and effort into their pitch, if you will, that if they hear no, they don't know how to handle that no in a way that it can be really just not twisted, but served properly to that client or prospect that you have, that allows people to go, this guy cares. I just told him no. He said this is the solution. He listened to me, right? The mirroring, right? You have an objection, you say it right back. There's a problem, you got to show people that you care when they say no. Why did they say no? And listening, active listening, allows you to do that. A lot of people try to talk past the objection and get right to the close and ask for the money and think it's always about the money, when it's not. Because if you handle objections up front and you're able to surface them and you know how to solve the problem that they have, you're not going to have to sell anything, and the money truly won't be an issue on the back end if you're providing that solution that they're looking for. But they're afraid to do that, and that's the truth.
No, I love that, because I always say, it's not about ultimately the services that you have. It's about the value that you're providing, right? Yeah. And I always tell everybody, if you're providing the value, money won't get in the way of you doing business. But here's the thing, I feel that once people hear objections, all right, this is something I want to talk to you about, handling objections. Yeah. What's the concept to you in regards to handling objections?
Solving a problem. I feel like there are people like, and I'm just going, we're talking about Brad Lear. I love Brad, right? I love Brad. I can handle any objection in the world. He can. Hardcore closer, right? I can. He can handle it. Me, I can handle any objection in the world. That's fine. Let's talk about great sales guys that can handle objections. How do you define handling an objection? An objection, it can really be a couple of things. A smoke screen because they just don't want to do business with it because they don't like you, right? How can I get out of this sales pitch or presentation as fast as I can because I want to get the hell out of here because your service doesn't provide what they're looking for, right? And more importantly, they actually care, right? No, this matters to me. This is why I'm not going to do business with you. That's serving. Handle an objection doesn't mean you're some badass. You can go, I can handle any objection in the world. I don't mean that. Handle objection basically means that you actually show that you care about the client, what they have a problem with or an issue of why they're not doing business with you matters to you. And then if you have a solution for it, then you tell them that you have the solution. It's not about throwing an objection at me. I can handle any objection. I can twist words better than anybody and make you feel like you're getting this. That's lying. That's a master liar. Not someone who's good at handling objections. But I'm also going to tell you, and I teach this in every sales course, that if your solution isn't right to handle that objection, your answer should be instantly, Mike, I apologize, my product, my service will not be able to do what you need it to do in that particular set. But what it can do is X, Y, Z. You're going to get so much more business if you just tell them the truth. But people feel like they're a master objection handler and there's anything they do and they think they're badasses because they can twist words. That's being a master liar, not a master server.
Makes sense. I mean, I always tell everybody, in order to handle objections, you just got to handle yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't believe in objections. Yeah, there might be, restricting forces, from stopping them to transact, like financial wherewithal. That's a legitimate, block, roadblock. But when it comes down to objections, this is how I always explain it to even my salespeople. You need to be able to handle yourself. What happens when a salesperson gets handed an objection? They typically get insecure, right? They don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to go about it. They don't know how to get past that no. Right? So they start feeling insecure. Insecurity is an emotion, right? What's emotion? It's the internal energy coming to the external projected through tone, right? So tone is energy, it's a frequency. So once you start feeling that emotion and you start projecting it, you're not handling yourself. They're gonna pick up on that frequency and then you lost.
Sure.
So it all comes down to your perception. And this is why I love, sales, well, quote unquote sales.
Caught yourself.
And
Got you,
personal
Mike.
growth and development. Well, I mean, I think sales and personal growth and development go hand in hand.
They do.
And that's where, the handling objections portion comes into play, because at the end of the day, the hardest sale that you'll ever make is selling yourself on you. So once you're truly confident, because the definition of confidence is the self-assurance and appreciation of one's own abilities and or qualities, right? So when you know that you can go ahead and still stay confident in that moment where it's not affecting you, it's not a legitimate objection, and you can actually get over it, it's not an objection. It's just communication.
Yeah.
Hearing, something and then basically going ahead and just talking about it.
Well, you talked about communication. I'm going to agree with you there. It's lack of, right? And that's how objections surface. I do a class on blocking objections, right? And a lot of people say, oh, it sounds weird blocking objections, like you're talking them out of actually bringing the objection up. Well, it's not true. It's serving the client, right? When they talk about money, I can easily say, listen, Mike, I know at the end of this presentation, you're going to tell me you can't afford it. I get it, right? You're going to tell me the product may or may not be for you, and that's okay too. It's my job to make sure that my product or service can serve you, right? You're going to tell me I have to think about it. You're going to tell me this. I know those things are going to come up, Mike. So let's just put that out of the way right now, because I know for a fact, right, that I know the things you're going to say at the end of this presentation. That's okay. So let's just talk about that effectively through this presentation. At the end of the presentation, I don't want you to tell me you can't afford it. I don't want you to tell me you can't do this and blah, 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 blah. We can go in deeper to why blocking objections is important, but strong, confident salespeople, when they speak, like you said, with tonality is huge, right? Voice inflection, it's huge during specific times during a presentation. But where it gets confused with tonality and voice inflection, when people can use that to close people that shouldn't be closed as well too, right? We can talk about emotion, then I can drop my voice down. We can talk like this, and I can tell you that I'm getting the chills, Mike, and all of that. I could be that master liar again, and I'm very passionate about this. Or you could just be truthful up front and use tonality and voice inflection the way it's supposed to be done through confidence and letting people know that anything that you have to offer them, if it's for them, be honest with them. If it's not, that's okay. But objections are going to surface. And again, just a different verbiage. I think we're just saying the same thing again. Objections are always going to surface. Money, like you said, it's a real objection, right? If okay, Mike, I'll ask you a question. If I have $0 right now and can never pay you ever again, and I asked you to work with me 24 hours a day and give up all of this, would you do it?
Potentially.
$0 forever.
I mean, I'll work for free.
Okay, so then we're going to work for free. Fair?
Let's do it.
All right, I love that. You saw this, guys. I just closed him
here's
on
the thing.
set, and he said $0 forever.
Well, here's the thing. You know why I'm saying that? Because at the end of the day, when I was working for free, the value that I got there, all right, the monetary value, yeah, there was no monetary value.
Yeah.
But the knowledge value, it's not about the money for me. I don't care about money. Honestly, I really think that money's just a tool that ultimately is going to allow you to get exposure towards your message. It's all about the message, right?
Yeah.
So it's not about the money. So if I'm gaining some kind of, benefit from it,
Yeah.
I'll work for free.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So we talk about it's not about the money. You have an extraordinary office. You have a beautiful wife, and you have a beautiful, God willing, healthy, blessed new baby coming soon, right? If you didn't have a place to live and you were in the streets with no money, how would you feel about yourself?
I wouldn't let it get to that point, though.
Okay, so let's...
Because I would still work for free and do whatever I got to do on the side to make sure I'm still
Now, what did I say, though? I said 24 hours a day with
24
me all
hours,
day
all right,
long.
24 hours,
right?
That's why I didn't hear.
Sure.
Active
So
listening.
again, for me, I feel like it's the effective communication. So I talk about that, and you say money doesn't matter. So few things that I think we use different verbiage with, right? I do believe in everything that you're saying. I truly, truly do, because everything you're saying is really what's going to be in my book, which you're going to love, because it's effective communicating isn't really sales. It is sales, right? But it's just different verbiage to your use, not to me. I just say it's sales, right? But money does matter. When people tell me that money doesn't matter, I believe that they're lying, because if you don't have money, and we just talked about this prior to the show, you can't do business with certain people that you and I talked about earlier that you dropped a lot of money with and got a great return on it because you're amazing at what you do, because it provided value that you saw served what you were trying to produce, right? I know this. People are a lot happier with money than they are without it. And I can tell you this because I grew up in extremely humble beginnings, and we don't have to go deep into my story. Everybody has one. But I saw some things that I hope I never see. And I went through some things that I hope my daughters never see. I want to be able to provide a life, and it doesn't have to be the Louis Vuitton shoes and the crazy. I want to provide a happy, profound life where we're giving a message to the world and leave a legacy to actually serve people. That's what I love to do. Is that selling myself? Yes, it is. Do I want to get money from that? Absolutely. Do I want to get paid? 1,000%. It's not all about the money, but the money is a byproduct
I think that's
of the message
the concept
that you
of,
get.
yeah,
Yes,
I think
sir.
that's the concept that I was trying to go towards more.
Agreed.
It's not all about the money. Obviously, money does matter. You
Yes,
need to
sir.
be able to support, the people that you love and take care of them.
Amen.
I think it's just people get so hyper focused on the money that they lose themselves.
That I agree with,
Right?
100%, bro.
And you got to be able to know who you are, and then I think people base their own self-worth towards that monetary value.
Yes.
And I think that's a complete wrong way to do it. I mean, yes, at the end of the day, you don't get paid for your time, you get paid for your value. But at the end of the day, a lot of people are just saying, hey, you know what? I made it.
Yeah.
I have 4 million. It doesn't matter what you got.
Agreed.
It's not about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there doing that, man, which is really what spawned me to start Gut Check Uncut. Gut Check Uncut was really created to call a lot of these assholes out that you're talking about. Men, women, I don't care what they are, where they're from. They're robbing people. They're charging people $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 to provide a service, and they never provide the service. They were stealing from people. The event I told you about earlier, there was people robbing people at that event, blatantly stealing them. I didn't want to speak to earn a living. I wanted to speak to provide a legacy and give people a message of authenticity, the raw and uncut, because there's so many people in this space that are blatantly fucking stealing and robbing people and providing a message because you can put on a show. I talk about the Ty Lopez's. He, took 50 or 100 grand and rented all these cars, and he was dead broke, and he lied to everybody, and he rented a house, and he would put 2 days worth of video and all this bullshit that the stories morphed into something that people, which isn't true, and then some of it is, right? Good for him. Because Ty Lopez created something special within him that mattered to him. And now he's got one of the most successful businesses on the planet, and anything he says, people listen to. There are people out there that are providing that and that can put on a front and a show and make people feel as if they're Ty Lopez or they're Cardone or they're the Bradleys of the world and these people. They can put it all the front all they want, and they're not. Because all that matters to them, to your point, is the money.
Well, I think another thing that matters is the external validation.
For sure.
They're doing it not for themselves. Like, something that I like about Gary Vee, that he talks about, document, we were talking about this too, document, don't create. And I think that a lot of these people, what they're doing is just creating the content, obviously utilizing things like Rolexes and, cars and things like that as, marketing, right? Because obviously it gets the attention, the attention creates revenue, right?
Yeah.
So it is a tactic that a lot of people are utilizing. But like, I think that for social media, if you look at my Instagram, yeah, there's a lot of motivational content, things like that on there, but it's not for anybody else. Mm-hmm. It really isn't. It's for me, because I utilize it as a gimmick when I'm feeling down. I'm putting it out there. If somebody gets value off of it, that's perfect. Yeah. But to tell you the truth, what I utilize social media for, it's for me when I'm in those like ruts or whatever, to go back and reflect. I said that. You know what? Now I got to keep continuing to stay consistent and take action. And that's where the documenting comes into play, because usually when I go ahead and post something like that, it's because I'm going through something and I got to remind myself. So I go back and watch it. She always complains. I'm always watching my stuff on repeat. I'm just like, yeah, I'm trying to condition my head to, thinking this in this perspective. Yeah. So I mean, like, I feel like that's documenting rather than creating, because they think that, hey, you know what, this is going to resonate with someone else. This is going to resonate with someone else. No, it's got to be about you first before it goes on to anybody else.
Isn't that the truth? Because
if you can't do it for yourself, you ain't going to be able to do it for someone else.
That's also the hardest step for people. That's the hardest step for people to take, is putting themselves first. People call it selfish, and they call it like arrogance and, cocky or whatever it may be. Dude, I'm telling you right now, it was the hard. I've lived my entire life for other people until I realized that I had to live for me first, because if I'm not happy, how can I help make anybody else happy? I did the same thing with my social media post. Every morning I'd get up and make my own posts and do my own shit, and I'm not rich to have a media team and everybody doing it for me, nor do I want them to, because I want the message to come from me. That's the uncut and the authentic side of who I am, and I'm never going to sway from that. We talked a little bit earlier about my book, right? And And I remember I was on, I told you I had the event that I promised my dad, said it a million times. Those of you watching probably have heard it before. What I don't tell a lot of people is when I first wrote that book, again, I had, 300 followers and whatever. I text 10 of the top people that we know, and a picture of the book when my dad died with a message before I put the book out, because I wanted their opinion on the cover of my book. And I said, hey, I know you don't know me, and I just respect you so much that I was asking if you can give me an opinion of what you think about the cover for my book. And I sent out the top 10 probably entrepreneurs, sales guys, motivational women on the planet. And I got no answer from any of them.
Did you follow up?
I did. And I'm a sales guy, so you're going to love this. So I messaged them back, all about 2 days later. And I said, hey, listen, I'm sure you probably have a media team and everything. And I'm not sure if you are the media team. Please get this message to those individuals and let them know that my dad recently passed away. And I want to make sure that this moment is special for me. And I've been such a huge supporter of you so long that I really, really, really am just begging for even an emoji of a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That's all that I'm asking. Now, if you have a media team, the media team could respond with it easily, right? It's one click of a button, right? If they get the message to that top person, I would hope that top person to our conversation would actually give a shit, right? With a thumbs up or thumb. I'm not asking you to write a 2-page, paragraph, right? Paragraphs on what you think about the book. How many people out of those 10 do you think answered? Even after the second very emotional message.
I can't give you an answer on that because I could see it going two ways.
Yeah, okay, tell me both.
I think that either one, they didn't open it, or two, they resonated with it. Because a lot of these top entrepreneurs or people in top positions, they resonate with emotions because they know what it took to get there.
So how many do you think answered if you had to put a number on it?
10.
0. So nobody answered again. So I'm a sales guy, so you'll love this. Did the follow-up the third time. And then the message was a little different. So imagine you're one of those top 10. Here was my message. I said, hey, Mike, listen, I know I don't want to keep bothering you, okay? But I really do care about this book. And what I've realized is that I've looked a little bit more deep into what you offer, your service. And I've realized that without your service and what you provide as far as value, this book doesn't matter, nor does the cover. And I need to know how I can connect with you deeper. I feel like the only way to do that is to buy one of your programs. So I have one question for you. How much is it to work with you?
I like that.
How many people do you think replied?
All 10.
All 10. And it was instant, just like that. So when you talk about money, I'll tell you this, and I apologize, I'll end it with this. You want to talk about money. It was all about the money. Whether it may not be, because you're right, with those entrepreneurs, a couple of those people probably do have massively large media teams, and they probably get millions of messages a day, and I get that. But I would teach my media team to get a message like that because someone sees it because they can monetize from that message, correct? Care about that person. Show them that you do, even if you're the media team. Give me the thumbs up, give me the thumbs down. If you give me a reply, yeah, I think it's great. Oh, I talked to Grant Cardone and he said this was great. Some of them are going to lie and say that they did and that's it. And we know that some of them do. But don't leave someone hanging who is asking you about something to build that relationship, to your point, to help do business with you in the future, because it isn't about the money all the way. To them it was, and I hated that. So I wanted to create a platform of raw authenticity and uncut information to people to provide a service or actually give a fuck, because there's so many entrepreneurs that don't.
I think that's what it comes down to, actually giving a fuck. Because honestly, I think that's the sad truth of what's going on. It has to come down to the money with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's about people, and what is life about? All right. I want you to take a swing at this first.
Sure.
In your perspective, what is life about?
It's about, a lot of people, I've been asked this question before, and my instant, the easy answer is it's about family, and it's about me being happy now. I want to be internally happy. I want to be rich, with God, with love, with family. I want all that. We all do. It's the easy answer. to me, life is about being truly happy because it's limited. Tomorrow's not promised. I just recently had a friend that had passed away, right? Instantly. Tomorrow's not promised, dude. I wake up every day and the biggest gift that I have every single morning is being able to open these two eyes. That's it, biggest gift, and I thank God for that every day. So I think if you were to ask me what really is the definition of life and truly living, it's being happy, man. You can't be miserable. I've been there. I've been depressed. I sat in a dark room for 12 months and bawled my eyes out with massive depression over a decade ago. I don't ever want to go back. So I have to put myself first to make sure that I'm happy in order to, impact lives the way I'd like to. So, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it definitely does come down to happiness, which, the key ingredient to happiness is fulfillment, right? Mm-hmm. But what about the fulfillment? How do you gain fulfillment? And I think this is where I was trying to go with it before. It does come down to people and how you make other people feel. It's all about emotions. How am I contributing to helping somebody or, just being there for somebody? Yeah. I think that most people are all about them. They take the concept, okay, I got to work on myself first, or I have to put myself in a position before I can go ahead and, be there for somebody else. At the end of the day, it comes down to this. The greatest currency in life is the currency of how you make other people feel.
Fact. Drop the mic, Mike.
I'm not joking. Fact. As I was talking to you about the entrepreneurs, that it was all about the money, when you were speaking about that. To me, this is why I think that it's so, important to have that personal touch when you're on Instagram. Yeah. I weed through all my messages. Yeah, It takes a long time, but at the end of the day, I want to show people that, hey, look, I'm actually a real person. I don't care about the money. If I could give you a sentence that's going to make you feel good, feel happy, I'm for it, because at the end of the day, I know that it takes one person to make a difference. Yeah. If you can impact one person, that's how you start a chain reaction, because they're going to do the same thing for somebody else, and then do it for another person. That's being a human. Yeah. That human connection is super important, and I think that's what we're lacking these days.
Well, and I'll tell you this, man. For me, one of the biggest things about impacting lives was, you're right, when I started posting these motivational posts, I was the drunk guy downtown fighting people. I was the one with the hot temper. I wasn't doing anything. And then one day I got a message from a friend I hadn't seen in 25 years, and she had said, you saved my life. I was about to kill myself because of this motivational post. I was in tears. I was talking about being a tough guy. I always say I'll fight everybody in the room and I'll cry while I'm doing it because I'm an emotional guy. But that changed my life. And I realized at that point that the message that I have to give, that God's given me this gift to give, is to really just impact lives. You're right. It's the best form of income. It's the best currency in the world. If you haven't changed a life, you need to change your life, because there is no better feeling, man. And when you do it with authenticity and you do it with an integrity-based business, it's the best feeling in the world, man. That's the currency of life.
So I got to ask you, if I could show you a way that you can help more people, would you be open to a presentation?
Every single second of the day. I'll leave with this, brother. Yes, I'm not the if I could, would you guy, old sales tactic, but I love that because I know you. I feel like I'm a good judge of character. Your wife said earlier, she goes, man, I can kind of read people, see if they're successful or not. I love that because I believe in energy and I believe in that stuff. I know there's good energy here. But I will tell you this, man, I've never been the what if guy. People come to me all the time, they say, man, how'd you get into roofing? How'd you get into solar? How'd you do this? Because I've never been the what if guy. Like, a lot of people say, well, I won't meet with this person. Someone came in the other day and they were trying to pitch me into my office, and they came in the door, and I remember someone saying to me, they go, hey Todd, why did you meet with that person? You know you're not going to do business with. I said, no. I didn't know if I was going to do business with them or not, because you never know. That could have been the one meeting that changed my life forever. And if it wasn't, that's okay. It wasn't a waste of time, because I'm never going to be the what if guy. Because if I said I didn't drive down to Boca to meet Mike and his beautiful wife and his crew and tough guy Lou, right? Best camera guy on the planet, best video guy. But if I didn't come down here, how would I ever know if this even a good fit for me? How would I know if this wasn't a relationship that could change my life forever? I don't know that. I have you by a few years. It doesn't mean that I'm smarter than you. It doesn't mean that I know more than you. I have zero ego. But I know for a fact that if I didn't come down, I'm always going to say to myself, what if that was the one thing that could have changed my life forever? So anybody listening or watching this show, Never turn down an opportunity to meet with anybody, number one. Never turn down a business opportunity. I got the best business idea on the planet. Okay, if 99% are shit and that 1% is good, you win. Because the people that say, don't go listen to that guy, don't talk to that person, don't do this, don't do that, they're afraid of the effort it's going to take to become what they know they're capable of becoming, but they don't want to take that first step. Me, I'm always going to take the first step. I'm never going to be the what if guy, and I'm always going to listen to people who have a message to give. So.
And I'm going to end it off with this, ready?
Yeah.
So ultimately that comes down to assumption. People are looking at other people's experiences and saying, oh, that didn't work, that didn't work. So now they're assuming that their result is going to be the same. And I always tell everybody it comes down to experience.
Yeah.
You have to experience it yourself to actually know if it's valid or not for you. Because what works for one person doesn't work for another. It might work for this person, but it might not work for that person.
Amen.
And ultimately, I always tell everybody, look, assumption will keep you from the truth. You need to experience, face your truth. The truth will set you free and allow you to live your true life.
Amen.
So, brother, I'm going to end it off with that.
Cool.
I appreciate you joining me, man.
It's a gift to be here.
And we got to do it again.
Amen, brother. So I'll look forward to connecting and staying long term. And if I don't do business with you, I'm definitely going to do business with your wife because she's very smart. You're a lucky
I
guy.
appreciate it, bro.
You're welcome,
Thank you
brother.
for joining.
Amen. Glad to be here, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Cool.